Hello and assalamu alaikum and welcome to my YouTube channel Norehina. If you like my videos and channel, then please do like, share and subscribe to us. Today we went to the Hologram Zoo with children, which is located at Cannon Hill in Brisbane, Australia. It was a 40-minute session with some fees for each kid. So if your kids love to go to a 3D zoo, a hologram zoo where they can experience the 3D images with wearing the 3D glasses, then you should go and visit this place. So let's do a visit together, which is a virtual tour of the 3D hologram zoo.
अच्छा रुको रुको
फिर आएगा
देखो नीचे से फ्लाई और नीचे जा रहे
हाँ
हमको खाने जाता है
चलो चलो
देखो
चलो
एक हाथ छू रहा है डायनासोर देखो
वो देखो वो देखो
अब बस यहाँ पर
ये देखो
Any of them. Plesiosaurs have long necks and flippers. Ichthyosaurs look like dolphins. And no one knew how they laid their eggs, because all reptile eggs need to get air inside for the baby to breathe. Even though they lived underwater, they were all reptiles, and reptiles breathe air. So every now and then, they had to come up to the surface to take a breath. These underwater dinosaurs weren't actually dinosaurs. Instead, they were a different type of reptile. Then some fossil hunters found a fossil of an ichthyosaur giving birth to its baby. And they could see it gave live birth without an egg. This was very strange for reptiles. It was a big surprise. Kronosaurus was a giant creature with the body that looked like a whale and the head that looked like a crocodile. And it had 4 flippers. It was very scary and was the top predator of the ocean, just as the Tyrannosaurus Rex was the top predator of the land. A lot of people think that all the dinosaurs all lived together at the same time. That is wrong. For example, here is a Triceratops, and here is a Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus lived 150 million years ago, but Triceratops lived only 80 million years ago. So the time between Stegosaurus and Triceratops was almost as long as the time between Triceratops and us today. These time periods had different names, like Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. There were even time periods before the dinosaurs. You will start today's adventure in the Carboniferous period, long before any dinosaurs had evolved yet. Instead, there were insects that were 50 times bigger than insects are today. You will visit a rainforest in the Carboniferous, where you will see giant dragonflies. These giant dragonflies are called Meganeura. They had a wingspan of 70 centimeters. They lived 300 million years ago and were probably the largest insects that ever lived. Today, insects can't grow that big, so let me explain the reason why. Humans and other animals breathe oxygen into their lungs, and then their blood carries it to all the cells of their body. But insects are so small that they don't need to carry oxygen around in their blood. Instead, the oxygen just soaks into their cells from the outside. In the past, there was a lot more oxygen in the air, so it could soak into the insects, allowing them to be much, much bigger than they are today. For example, Arthroplura was the giant millipede that lived at the same time as the dragonflies. It was 2.6 meters long, the length of a small car, and half a meter wide. It was a plant eater, living off the decaying material of the swampy floors in the massive forest. It was so big, it had no known predators. This enormous creature had about 30 body segments covered in thin armor, and approximately 40 legs. I'm sure you'll meet him today along your dinosaur journey. Even though the time of the dinosaurs had many animals that we don't have today, there were also animals that lived back then that are still alive today. These include turtles, snakes, sharks, lobsters, crocodiles, the platypus, bees, starfish, as well as many others. Well, I hope you found some of that interesting. Now it's time to visit the dinosaurs in the holographic tunnel. Remember, you'll begin before the dinosaurs, in the time of the giant insects. Bye-bye now. Thanks for learning things. Yes. Even as far back as ancient Rome, historians wrote down that they found the bones of strange giant animals from long ago. Sometimes these people thought that the bones were from giant humans that lived long ago. Dinosaur fossils have been found on every single continent of the earth, including different types of dinosaur. Apatosaurus was a long-necked dinosaur. They used to be called Brontosaurus, but not anymore. Let me tell you the strange story about how this happened. A man found a long-necked dinosaur, but it didn't have a head. so he stuck a head on it from a different dinosaur so that it would be complete. And he called this dinosaur Brontosaurus. Later on, some people found another long-necked dinosaur, but they noticed that the head wasn't the same. So they assumed that it must have been a totally different dinosaur. They gave this new dinosaur the name Apatosaurus. Over time, more and more Apatosauruses were found, but no more Brontosauruses were found. Eventually, people realized that the wrong head had been put on the body. And the Brontosaurus was not actually a different dinosaur. The biggest dinosaur of all was a long-necked dinosaur called Argentinosaurus, because it came from the country Argentina. It was 40 meters long, about the length of 8 cars. Scientists think they might have lived as long as 200 years. And each day, they would have had to have eaten a pile of leaves as big as a bus. All dinosaurs lay eggs, and about 40 kinds of eggs have been discovered. Even though dinosaurs were so big, their eggs were only about as big as basketballs. The reason for this is because the bigger the egg is, the harder the shell must be to hold it all together. So if the dinosaur eggs got too big, the babies wouldn't be able to crack their way out of them. The meteor didn't kill all of them at once. Instead, when it hit